Morning. The captain and I are in Ennerdale this time, and we're going to climb Pillar and maybe Steeple as well. Today it's going to be awesome. The weather's fantastic and you're going to see some of this, some of that, and hopefully some of the other. Thanks for joining us. Let's get over the hill. So the Ennerdale Valley in the Lake District is quite unique in the fact that it doesn't have any roads other than a dirt track for the forestry workers, or no gift shops or tea rooms or coach parties. And indeed it's that remoteness, the emptiness, the wildness of the valley that brings a particular type of visitors to this place that want to enjoy the peace and quiet, the emptiness of Wild Ennerdale. You're going to see why. So a decision was made in the mid-20th century for numerous reasons that this empty valley would be an ideal place to plant mile after mile of pines for timber purposes, to use in industry or whatever. This comes after the original forest from many years ago. The early settlers, most of them Norse, had cleared the valley as they set up their little farmsteads called vaccaries that still dot the valley in places if you know where to look. And those early settlers, as they cleared the forest, the native ash and rowan and birch and oak found the valley more and more empty, going back to a barren, more rugged sort of situation. And that's when the Forestry Commission and the government stepped in, like I say, in the mid-20th century, and thought, what an awesome place. We can plant a lot of pine here, we can have a good supply of timber for years and years and years. And that didn't go well down with everybody, particularly the wildlife. And the price was this: lack of biodiversity in a plantation where the trees are wall to wall, shutting out the light, not allowing any plants to grow. And with no plants growing, no flora, we don't get any fauna. There was very little in the way of wildlife in these absolutely jam-packed pine plantations. That's where the change had to come. Something had to be done. And several organisations got together and decided something must be done. There's Wild Ennerdale, the Forestry England, and other stakeholders. There'll be a link at the bottom of the video so you can learn more about it. And the goal was to return Ennerdale to its wild past, to bring back the animals, the creatures, the biodiversity and the natural beauty of this place. So in a way it really is a new dawn for Ennerdale. The clearing of the artificial pine plantations, and with the rewilding will come natural open spaces, sunlight, biodiversity, flowers return, then insects, beetles, butterflies and all the other food chain sort of structures that go along with it, bringing Ennerdale back to its vibrant, wild past that has so attracted people over the years. As you can see, right up there amongst the fell, pines have been cleared. You can see the stumps just to let the sunlight back in. So lots of good stuff there, lots of things we've probably learned together. I've learned it in the past few weeks just by having a browse online and looking at this amazing place. But coming up, we're going to take a detour into the forest now. Look at those trees and the plantations that are being thinned as we start our climb towards Pillar, and even more scenery. I downloaded this route from Andy Foster's channel on YouTube, where he goes around with the rock star Billy, who was fortunate to meet a couple of years ago. So shout out to Andy and Rockstar. And so far this is pretty awesome. Well, that climb was awesome, but do take note on this GPX route when you download it, there'll be a link at the bottom. Temptation is to carry on up the much more established path, where our way, following Mr. Foster in his footsteps literally, takes us deeper into a plantation and Pillar eventually. This is absolutely marvellous. And if you want an illustration of actually what industrial pine plantations has done to the upper slopes of the mountain, you only have to look here. Crowded, dark, spindly, where they're all reaching, grasping for the sunlight.
Come down a bit more.
So rather helpfully, even though I've got it as a downloaded GPX, someone's rather helpfully put a little pile of stones. So the next part, which is described as a bit harder than the previous sections, I'm going to go up through this little gap in the trees, and we should clear the tree line in time. We don't know how. Hopefully. We'll see. So as you can see on the map, we're just starting to leave the tree line behind, and other than these younger little pines, the captain has us up there, and you can see the remains of the original dry stone walls from those ancient settlers just marching its way onto the fells there. And there's our ultimate destination, a bit washed out in the sun, but pillar, and then windy gap, and then steeple, potentially the way down. So a fantastic route so far, not so difficult to navigate as we thought it might be. Little footprint here and there, but you can tell we're off the beaten track, can't you, Captain? Yeah. You can see two old duffers have come trundling through it okay, and if we can, you can too. How you feeling, Captain?
Good.
Good. Good enough. I think, yeah. Gives you a hand. So that's the pine forests and plantations of Ennerdale left behind. The captain's going to go on ahead. We're going to keep following Andy's awesome route, and we're going to get to that first ridge just on the flanks of Pillar here. Fantastic. So there we go, Ennerdale. You can see the gaps in the plantations where they're chopping them all down, ready for rewilding. So as the captain and I take 5, the route's going to continue up onto the fell. You can enjoy scenes like this. Awesome. So hike's getting a bit technical now. The captain's just going ahead, and then things start getting a little bit rocky and a bit craggy, but it's been good. The variety of the track through the forest, and then the footpaths, the damp footpaths up through the plantations, and then a grassy slope, and then this with the leftover snow and melted hail from yesterday. In the meantime, it is just a lovely plod, and the scenery starts to open up. I have to say, I'm amazed at this route. It's not very trod, there's no significant erosion. It seems like a very, very seldom visited route, which is another bonus today. There you go. Look at the fells. They've all got snow. Marvellous. So while the captain snaps off a couple, which you'll see later in this video because his photography is pretty good, we're going to take 5 on White Pike and just, as Depeche Mode said, enjoy the silence. vistas. So a good day so far. Path can be indistinct, certainly in this, but we've got GPS devices and a map, and you can just see over the captain's shoulder there, that's the rest of our way. Great Scope Fell, maybe steeple. We'll see how it is underfoot, safety first. In the meantime, we'll stay warm by staying moving, and I think no matter how much you move, it's going to be big coats on the plateau. It's starting to get a bit brisk. Oh wow, look at those fells, that's Great Gable, the Scarfell Massif. That is amazing. Amazing. There we go, summit of Pillar, and I have to say, worthwhile endeavour in itself, but these views, your Great Gables, wow, Green Gable, that is amazing. So there we go, summit of Pillar. Captain's just going to snap off a few, so we're going to stick a big coat on, take 5, and say welcome to Pillar, the summit overlooking Ennerdale. So there we are, that was Pillar. Awesome. Now, we did check the weather forecast, which is why we've brought all this gubbins, because better safe than sorry. The captain's got his GPS, I've got mine. We're now going to set sail to Steeple. So thank you and goodbye, Pillar. We were here a few years ago and it really wasn't like this, was it, Captain? So in the meantime, we're going to press on. So hope you enjoyed those views over the fells. Make doubly sure we've left nothing and no one behind, and set off. And I think, look down there, Simon, down the valley, visibility is becoming really quite problematic. So while we start to make ourselves our way down, it may be that Steeple, just over my shoulder there, might be off the menu today. The captain and I have made a rational decision that we're going to scum down off Winder Gap, heading back towards Ennerdale. Now the OS map shows that there's a footpath and we all know how unreliable that is. So our options are go down here and walk through the long grass, maybe a path, maybe not. Continue over here, over Scope Fell, and then come down into a little valley where we know there isn't a path, so because we've walked that route before. So I'd rather no path now through the valley in the interest of safety, because as you can see just over the captain's shoulder there, things are getting pretty miserable at height. So there we go, the ascent from Wind Gap. Like I said, with the weather closing in on the summit, best not to do steeple today, safety first. So the captain and I have wound down here. OS promises a little footpath, there wasn't one, we've made the best of it. So what we're going to do is sashay here along the beck back into the forest and have a gentle wander back to the hostel. So it's been awesome so far. If you're still following us, thank you. All the information you need about this trek is at the bottom of the description. The route, some of the history of Ennerdale and other things you might be interested in. So there you have it, Ennerdale to Pillar and back via Windy Gap. So if you're not lucky enough like us to stay at Ennerdale Youth Hostel to make the journey a bit shorter, you can stay at Bowness Knott car park at the head of the valley, and it's about an hour's walk down to pretty much where we started. So overall about 10-11k. There'll be a little map coming up telling you all about it. Thanks for watching.